Thanks, Emmy, and it's great to be here with you all today. As Emmy said, I'm here today representing ITE, which I'm very honored to do. Um, in the spirit of Virginia talking about her journey, I'll do the same. And I spent 25 years working at a large consulting firm, and then about 2 years ago, transitioned into starting my own company. And workforce has always been important to me, but it's certainly given me a new perspective on it as I try to strategize about growing my own team. So I'm excited about that. Also, want to call out a couple names I see out in the crowd today. Um, past IT past president Beverly Kuhn is here today with us, and uh, Beverly's been a huge influence on my professional career, and I'm grateful for her leadership as ITE president. And she continues to be involved, and I definitely recommend you reaching out to Beverly if you haven't done so already. I also see my colleague April Blackburn out there. I was recently named to AED 30, which is the um, Information Systems Standing Committee within TRB. And April is another person who's been a great leader in our industry for a long time. And particularly now, as we talk about TISMO and technology, she's definitely a great resource. So I would recommend you being a friend of her committee. And so, with that, I'll talk a little bit about a new initiative that ITE has been involved with, and that is this Engineering Workforce Consortium. If we could go to the next slide, Adam. So we're all familiar with these statistics. That's probably why we're here today. At least that's why we have somewhat of an interest in workforce development and what it means for our industry. The overarching message, I think, across these statistics is that there aren't enough of us headed into the future, and there aren't enough of us with diverse perspectives to bring to the table to provide the best solutions. And that's something that ITE has been focused on quite a bit over the past few years, and something that we continue to lead with. Next slide. So in October, ITE became a founding member of the Engineering Workforce Consortium. ITE CEO Steve Kusiemba and I, and Director of Member Services Colleen Agan, attended an event where a joint MOU was signed to really bring together a lot of resources to focus on workforce development. The Engineering Workforce Consortium was formed around really three different aspects of importance to us here as the mission statement: attracting, retaining, and then advocating for our industry is really the focus of the Engineering Workforce Consortium. Next slide. As I mentioned, we were one of the founding members of the consortium. The effort was led by ACEC, APWA, and ASCE as an outcrop of their engineering work roadshow that they've been putting on for a number of years, and seeing developing, continued trend of dwindling numbers with increased demand and pressure led them down this path to create this opportunity. And all the logos you see here were part of the founding of the consortium. Next slide. And we got together for an initial kickoff summit last April, and these were some of the core questions coming out of that summit that was felt that the Engineering Workforce Consortium could address. And again, these, I'm sure many of these questions on here you resonate with. They're not surprising. They're questions we've been asking ourselves quite a bit, I think, over the past few years, especially, if not beyond. And, continue to be of utmost importance that we focus on answering those. And I will say that I just came from the latest meeting with the EWC on Monday and Tuesday of this week, and we really started to dig into how we could take action to make a difference on a lot of these issues. We heard from people like Leslie Richards, former Secretary of Pennsylvania DOT and SEPTA CEO, who talked about needing to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be inclusive of everybody and making sure that we keep that as our focus and that we all become allies to people who need to get a seat at the table, whether it's by age, gender, ethnicity, or what have you, that we make sure that all the right people are around the table. We heard people talk about understanding the differences in generations. We heard from Stephanie Ivy, another ITE colleague of mine, who has done some wonderful things around career pathways where maybe you start in a technician or a technical role and you progress along your career and eventually become an engineer. So we continue to refine the messaging around that and develop an action plan. And pretty soon the proceedings for that will be published, and we'll be sure to share them out with NOCO and share them widely on that. Next slide. So I mentioned attracting talent as one of the core focus mission areas of the EWC. And I'll just point out a couple of here. Discovery, if you're not familiar with them, they're the folks that are behind Engineers Week. They designed that, they administer it every year. And then the ACE Mentor program is a program that really focuses on creating engineering opportunities for kids and also young professionals and giving them a chance to perform and be mentored by veterans. And then one that's not shown here that is one that ITE developed a partnership with coming out of the first summit, and that's the Engineers Without Borders. They're doing wonderful work, and if you're like me, I always thought that Engineers Without Borders was something where you went international, but it turns out they have a US based program as well. So I would encourage you to seek them out for collaboration as well. Next slide. And then, under retaining talent, we talked a lot about that this week as well. And we talked about not just leadership training, but the need to modify the ABET accreditation rules so that engineering curriculum can include leadership development and some of the more uh, I would say active needs of today's workforce. We got into a discussion about whether we need 18 credits of calculus in the engineering curriculum, or if you could be a trade-off to focus on some of these other opportunities as a way of being having people be more prepared when they graduate from college and being more ready to assume leadership roles. And then talking about opportunities for growth and change, we again discussed the need to cast a wide net to create many paths for people that want to be involved. And maybe they don't want to get to, a master's or baccalaureate engineering degree, but there should be a role for people that could obtain professional growth on a different path, but related to our engineering field. Next slide. And so, of course, a big part of this is continuing to advocate for industry growth and sustainability. We all know that here in the US, there will be a new infrastructure bill will be needed next year. There's, a big debate of the tax code this year that will impact the infrastructure funding discussion next year. So now is a good time to be binding together and unifying our message so that we have the most success in what we want to advocate for. Next slide. And so, just turning then to ITE itself a little bit, professional growth really has been the hallmark of ITE since it was created almost 100 years ago now. But it's really focused at the national level now around our councils. And here you see a slide that shows our five uh, main councils and some of the standing committees that kind of roll up into them. And what we've tried to create within the councils are a culture of collaboration, right? I want you to look at this and think that it's, five silos of excellence. So this is really, binding people together by their interest area, but then creating the necessary blueprint for successful collaboration. And in addition to these five, there's also four employer-based councils where you can be involved based on the type of practicing professional you are: public sector, private sector, vendor, academia, and things like that. Next slide. And then, there's other special committees too that have really been successful at ITE. I know Dr. Hadi, who we'll hear from later, has been involved with some of them. And these continue to be some of our strongest committees in terms of participation at ITE. They normally meet at our annual meeting, and then they do activities outside of the annual meeting as well. So we are definitely focused on serving the whole professional, not just portions of that professional. Next. One of our great successes has been our students and young professionals and the work that so many of our districts and sections have put into fostering the relationships with the different universities, supporting them, and really creating that bond between professionals and our students. And our student leadership summits are one of the biggest examples of success when it comes to that, because this was initially started in Southern California. This concept was, and has spread throughout ITE over the past, I don't know, 10 years or so, perhaps. And every year it brings together conferences that are and summits that are organized by students for students. And so, as opposed to some of our meetings where, the professionals organize it and then we figure out how to fit the students in, this is students front and center. And so that's something that's really important to us. And then leadership ITE is another one. Again, with I think now more than 250 graduates from leadership ITE, it's become known across the industry as a key leadership development program for young professionals. Next slide. So if you want to know more about any of this, as I said, Beverly's on the call today. I see her out there. She can fill you in on it. You can reach out to me, but probably the most direct line to getting involved with that is to reach out to Colleen Egan, who couldn't be here today. But she's a wonderful resource, and she's very open to helping anybody who wants to get involved. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Emmy.